What's going on, everybody? My name is Clement. I'm a real estate broker here in the Greater Toronto area. Today, what I'd like us to talk about is a real estate review of the 2022 market. And what we're going to cover is literally from January till December. Well, I'm going to pick on every single point that happened, the major points that happened on each month, and try and explain as much as possible so that you have a good understanding of what really happened throughout those years and give you a good understanding of what you could potentially look out for coming into 2023. Because I know there were a lot of missed opportunities in 2022, as crazy as it was. In the beginning of the year, there's some people who purchased at the beginning of the year when the prices were all the way up there. And obviously, as we know, with the interest rates, as I'm going to cover here, once they went up, again, you could see the shift in the market. So I'm going to cover all those things today, and we'll go through the whole of GTA. And what I'll do for you in this video to make it a lot easier for you is I'll break it down. So if you look at the description below, you'll see every piece, every time of the points that we've talked about today. I've broken it down for you. That way you can actually just scroll in the video below, and you can click on the section that you really want to gather that information for. Or if you want to come back and listen to that same information again, I've broken it down for you. That way I can save you a lot of time. Though, if you watch the whole video, it's going to give you a lot more information, particularly if doesn't matter if you're a first-time home buyer, if you are an investor, second-time home buyer, if you are a seller in this market. What I'm going to cover today will give you a good understanding on how to approach the market. But before I move forward, I want to say that you can like the video and subscribe and all that good stuff. This gives me that support, gives me that help to actually understand that, okay, there's people watching this and there's people actually enjoying this. But yeah, just like and subscribe, and I'm going to be giving out as much as one video every week is what I'm going to go for. One video every week. I'll try and talk about something that's going on in the real estate market. And sometimes I'll also have some guests who are going to be a part of this, and I'll talk to some of these guests and give you as much information as possible, because that is one thing that I noticed in 2022, that a lot of people just had questions, and from the questions I was receiving, I noticed there was a lot of information that was being missed. And also from some of the calls that I made this year, some of the people that I've talked to this year already. Today is January 11th, 2023. And just from the conversations I've had so far, people still have questions. And so I'm here to give you as much information as possible. So let's get into this. And I'm going to show you all this information. I'm going to share my screen here. That way we can be on the same page. So what I have here in front of you is the TREB average price. This is a whole graph from 2018 all the way till December of 2022. So I typically use this because it's a very good graph to understand the trend of the market, and it actually gives you a good understanding of how things were progressing from 2018 all the way to 2022. Because with real estate, for you to get information for real estate, you want to go into history. It's very hard to predict what's going to happen in the real estate market moving forward, or to pinpoint and say in 3 months time this is where the market is going to be. Somebody who says that, I'll say that's you don't have the crystal ball. That's a lie right there. But I've always said with real estate, the best way to get your answers is through history, and that's what we're going to go through right now. So the first thing I want us to do is I'm going to draw a trend line. For some of you who remember when we were in school, we used to do this. Draw the trend line. The first bottom points have to touch. There we go. So we have that right there. So let's do this. So you can see with this trend line right here, what this shows us is how the market was moving from 2018 right here all the way till December of 2022. And you can see the progression of how everything was going. Things were just going exactly as it should. There was not any drastic movement of the market. So when we're seeing this drop, this was around April of 2022. The highest peak before the craziness was right here of May of 2021. Then, as you can see here in February, in February of 2022, this is the highest peak in the real estate market in history, pretty much. So if you look at that, and that is an increase of 1.32 million, 1,300,000. So, and this was happening in February. That's the highest peak of the market, and you can see that was a trend. This is the time when the interest rates was introduced. The interest rates were as low as less than 1%, and typically when the cost of borrowing is almost the same as renting a property, typically what would happen is a lot of people would want to move forward to purchase a property and own a property and let it appreciate accordingly, as you can see here. But this is just a little bit too crazy, so that's why we are seeing this whole bubble that we're experiencing right here. And once the government now, because what happened here, it was the government panicking, wanting to put a lot more money into the economy. And by that, how do you do that? By reducing the economy. So there's a lot more people who will come in, and they just overdid it. And once they overdid it, they want to correct it, drop inflation. And what they're doing by that, increase interest rates again. And once they increase the interest rates, but it went from 0.25 all the way to 0.425, the increment, and that has never happened in history. We're talking since the 1930s. You see, and because of that, you could see the market just dropped significantly all the way down in July of 2022. And now we are in a position where the market is now in a typical trade. It's not stabilizing, we can say. It's not stabilizing. You can see from July of 2022 all the way till November of 2022, it was just going on a simple trend, on a normal trend. As you can see, we're back on the trend line, and now obviously in December of 2022, it's typical. Because in the winter markets, typically the inventory is always lower. There's not so much trading that happens during that time. And given this year with the interest rates being high, that just almost putting all in the flames, and that's why you're seeing the market having dropped all the way till here. But you can see it's not that far away from the trend line. And what you're going to see where the interest rate's going on right now, it's going to be around the same level of appreciation. It's not going to be another drastic rate, as you can see here in February of 2022. So when you're looking at this as a seller, you really want to pay attention. If you're a seller who is expecting the same price as February 2022, you'll be waiting a very long time. Because you can see this. This is not normal. This is way above the trend line, as we can see here. So you want to be very smart about this and make sure you're in a position where, yes, the real estate market is still going up, as you can see with the trend line. It's still going up. It's not going up at the rate of what it was at the top of 2022. So that is something that you really want to pay attention on. And currently, we are obviously experiencing low inventory, and that's why you're seeing what we're looking at right now. So that is the graph, and I want us to get into the monthly sales data from 2021 all the way to 2022. So when we look at this, you'll see that so this is December of 2022. The number of sales in December of 2021 was 6,031 compared to December of 2022 right here, which is 3,117. And you can see with this, the average price at this point was 1,157,000, 1.1. And the average price in December of 2022 is 1,051,000. You can see what is happening here. As the year went by, the number of sales, 5,600. You can see there. February, 9,000. March, 10,000. because so this is the area where we saw with the graph being really at the peak there, and the number of sales were really high, and the amounts of inventory was also very low. So properties at this time, as you can see here, properties are selling in less than 2 weeks, less than a week. Some were selling even within days, as you can see on here. And this is around the February, March area. So this is not a typical rate on how the market trends, or how the market trades, I should say, you see. And when we move on, you can see this is what happening in April all the way in August. So now when we got into July, that's when the market started stabilizing, as you saw in the graph. Once it dropped down to the trend line, it's now starting to stabilize with the number of trading, or you can see the pricing was 1,079,000, 1,086,000, 1,086,000, and you can see that's the market now stabilizing 1,089,000, 1,079,000, and to now, which is 1,051,000. So you can see that. So there's room for appreciation, which is a good thing for you to understand. If you are a first-time home buyer, this is an opportunity for you, because you're not purchasing property at the lowest that it could be, as it's going to go up. With the trend line, as you saw the trend line, it's still going to go up. It's not going to go up significantly, as you could see what was happening at the top of the year, 1,033,000 and 1,002,000. Then it started dropping to 1,002,000. Now it's all the way to 1,051,000. It's going to get back up, but it's not going to get back up all the way till here. And we can now see the days on market have also gone up. So the days on market have gone up in December of 2022. Properties are staying in the market for a very long time. So these are properties, a lot of the properties that you're seeing in the market right now, some of them, a majority of them have been overpriced, really, or these are sellers who are in situations where they potentially have to sell. And right now you're seeing a lot of buyers. The property is not bad. There's opportunities for you if you're a buyer. But what's happening is buyers are holding on. They're just holding back to see what's going to happen. What's going to happen first. So if you're one of those buyers who's ready and you're in a good position, you're happy with your monthly payments, your interest rates are good, you don't have to worry about nothing, then you're in a good, strong position at this point, at this time of the market. And the data does show you that, because at the top of the year, this is the lowest the price has been since, see, in December of 2021. We're going to go into the pricing, and you'll see how long it has been. You'll see it's been over 2 years, I would say. And right now, once the interest rates are going to go down, eventually they'll start dropping down from where and you can see right now there's some people who are getting actually really good interest rate. When I say really good, I mean like 3.8 or 4%. And that is not the worst either. So when you're seeing things like that coming into February, you're going to start seeing the market, the prices going up again. So I want to cover the GTA, so we can see here. So the GTA, so I'm going to cover the whole of, so this is the Greater Toronto area. So I'll cover the whole area of this is the pricing from the top of the year till December and of the GTA, and then I'll cover the micro market. But this is good for you to understand, where to, how the GTA and how does it relate to you as well. So when we look at this, in the Greater Toronto area, the average sale, so don't get confused by this. So the average sale year over year has gone up by 8.6. So 1,189,000. So you can look at this and say, how have the prices gone up? So this is just comparing from January all the way till December. So the average price has gone up by 8.6. And if you see, as of December, actually, the average price has dropped by 9.2%. See this? And this is 1,051,000. So this is month over month. So December 22 compared to December 2021. And you can see here, December 21, the market was at 1.1, which is the drop to December of 2022, which is minus 9.2%. And you can see here in 2022, the market was at 932,000. It's not that far away from where things were here. You see, so That's what I'm saying. As a buyer in this market right now, there's some opportunities there for you. So if we look at the number of sales in 2022 dropped by 38%. This is 75,000, which is the number of sales. I would say this is probably the lowest, or this is an average number. So in 2018, the average sale was around 78,000. Then we could see even in 2008 was 74,000. Then in 2002, it was also 74,000. So when we're seeing here at 75,000, it's just not gonna be typical, because we just came off a market where in 2021 it was the highest time of the year, where it was just ridiculously high. The number of sales that were going on at that year were just at a high rate. And you can see here, so the total sales even in December of 2021 was 6,000. If you see the total sales of 2022 was just 3,000. So that is something you have to watch out for coming into 2023. I would say it's going to be very typical. It's going to be very similar to what you're seeing here in 2019, which is around 5,000 or 4,500 there. Then the average days in market in the GTA was 15 days. So this is a little bit skewed, because at the top of the year, properties are going flying within 2 days, 3 days, a week. You're seeing offer dates on a lot of properties. Now, you're seeing a lot of properties have been in the market for a month, 2 months, and as you can see here, the average days in market, the average, the inventory is 2.7. So this is telling you the average days of market is around 3 months. So that is the trend that's going on at the moment. So when you see a property that you're interested in and you see that it's been in the market for over 2 weeks, or it's been in the market for 3 months, don't get turned off by it. Because I know in the beginning of the year, that is something that really turned off a lot of people. If your property has been in the market for just that long, for 2 weeks, you start wondering, is there something wrong with this house? Or why do people not want it? But right now, as a seller, you also have to learn how to be patient at this time of the year, because you'll have your property out for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and all you had is 2 or 3 showings. It's not time to panic. Don't panic. Just have a good understanding of what's really going on in your micro market area. Understand the average days of market in that particular area. And you should be in a good position as long as you are according to the price. And that is a lot of what's going on at the moment, where some sellers have overpriced the property, expecting the prices that you could see at the top of the year around February, or even sometimes around the March area. They want to get that similar price, but it's very hard to get that right now. I'm going to say it's almost impossible to get it right now, to be quite honest. So if some of the sellers who have their properties in the market and are expecting those similar prices, that's why you're seeing it staying in the market for that long. I've dealt with it. I've put in an offer for some of my clients for some of the properties that have been in the market. My clients really want it. We submit an offer that's according to the value of the current market, but the seller is still expecting February numbers, because you don't want to take on someone else's mistake. That's the biggest thing I can tell you as a buyer. But as a seller, you just have to be very educated on what's going on before you put your property up in the market, and make sure you're priced accordingly. Make sure you look at your situation and your numbers, and if they fit what you need, have your property up in the market. If it does not fit what you need, don't put it up in the market with the hopes and cross your fingers. Hopefully you'll get a really high number, because now you're just putting a really bad stigma on your property. But let's get back to this. So when you look at the condo corner here, so the average price for a condo is $705,000 in the Greater Toronto area, and that went down by 0.9%. And the number of sales for condo, you can see it was not that much. It was 966. Also, again, this number, because at that time of the year, at the top of the year, you could see a lot of people wanted to move into houses, because somebody's paying the same amount of money for rent in the downtown Toronto area, or for a condo, because that's where a lot of condos are in Toronto, and someone is paying for rent, a buyer is paying rent according similar to what you pay if you owned a property, because the interest rates were that low. So that's why you could see the number of condo sales dropped significantly. And now you'll see that's something, by the way, you should really look out for this year. I predict the number of condo sales are going to go really high because the interest rates are really up there as well. So what's the most affordable price range for a first-time home buyer to come in? What's the most affordable price for an investor to invest in the Greater Toronto area? It's the price range that is going to be for condos, and that is now going to drive the number of sales for condos. It's going to drive the price range for condos in the GTA as well. So that is something you want to look out for in 2023. So we can get into the Durham region, and we can see what happened here in the Durham region. And when we talk about the Durham region, we're talking about areas like Pickering, Ajax, Whitby, Oshawa, Clarendon. So those areas as well. So you can see here as well, the average price year to date has gone up by 10.7%. That is up by 1,024,000. Durham is just insane. So we'll look at this. So the average price for all type of homes as of December dropped by 15%. So this is 874. So if you look at this, in 2021 in Durham, the average price was 1,033,000. That has dropped down to 874 as of December of 2022. That's a huge drop. And when you see a huge drop like this, that's also an opportunity. You'll hear me repeat this a lot. As a buyer, that's also another opportunity, because you're now getting these properties at the lowest rate of the market at the moment. So you can see it has dropped down to month over month, December of 2021 to December of 2022. It has dropped from 1,033,000 all the way till 874. It's now getting close to 2020 price range of December of 2020, but don't expect it to drop all the way till 778. You can see the total sales also dropped by 43%. This is 380. And in 2021, the total sales was 671. The active listing went up by, this was 375%. This was 723. In 2021, that was 152. So if you look at year over year, the number of sales in the Durham area dropped as well by 32%. And this is 9,875. And the days in market was also went up by 33%. So again, it's the same thing as what I explained about the GTA area. It's at the top of the year, things are flying really fast. Coming into July, everything slowed down. After July, around August, September, October there, the market stabilized, and you could see a normal trend of the market, and that is what was going on around that time. Then we can look at the average sale price for condos was 534. There was only a total of 25 sales, 25 condo sales. There's not so many condos in the Durham area. We're talking Whitby, Oshawa, Ajax. This area is, a lot of people prefer purchasing townhouses, semi-detached, detached houses, because it's a more affordable. It's more attractive in terms of land transfer taxes as well. So there's all those things that come with it, and you get the space and you get a big property, and there's all those benefits for that. That's why you don't see so many condos selling out there. And also, there's not so many condo buildings in the Durham area. That is something that's slowly changing. There's a lot of pre-constructions, buildings coming up in the Whitby area, Pickering as well. So that's also another opportunity to look out for. So if we go into Toronto, so for Toronto, you can see the average sale price year to date was went up by 7.9%. That's 1.1 million, 1,140,000 to be exact. The number of sales to date, that dropped by 36%, and that is 27,769, as you can see here. So, and when we look at Toronto market month over month, and we see this right here. So the price dropped by 0.5%. The average price month over month. So I'm talking December of 2022, not December of 2021 to December of 2022. It dropped from 1,023,000 down to 1,017,000. And the total number of sales month over month was 1,162. That's a drop of 51%. In 2021, you can see it was 2,395. The active listing in 2022 was 3,594, and that's a huge positive, which is 1,806. So obviously, a lot of these properties are not selling as fast as they were selling in 2022, in 2021, because at that time we had a December like never before. Typically, the December that we just experienced is a very normal kind of December. The December that we experienced in 2021, where properties are just flying like that, and that's why you can see what's happening right here. The active listings was 1,806 compared to 3,594. So that tells you that the number of sales properties are not staying in the market for a very long time compared to right now, which a lot of this property is staying in the market for a long time before. And that's why you can see 3,594. So in the condo area in Toronto, Toronto is where you have a lot more condos, and you can see the average price is 741,000, and this went up by 0.5%, as I said. And also the number of condo sales dropped by 646. The same explanation that I gave. The rent in Toronto was at the top of the year. The rent in Toronto was very similar to what a lot of people would pay for the cost of having a full house in Durham or in the Peel area. So it only made sense for a lot of people to sell their condos downtown, or a lot of tenants, a lot of renters to purchase, because the value of renting and the value of purchasing was very similar because of the interest rates. And that's why you could see Desmond, it dropped significantly. It dropped significantly after February. Everything just stopped, and that's when things slowly started changing. And this number, I'm almost positive this year this number is going to be a lot higher because of the interest rates have gone up, and in the 4%, 5%, some are paying 6%. And the most affordable price range for a lot of people is going to be condominiums. And for that reason, those condos are going to sell. A lot of condos are going to sell. First-time home buyers at the moment, for you to be able to afford a monthly payment, because you're buying the monthly payments, condos are going to be the most affordable, and you'll see it. And you can see here the amounts of inventory. A lot of properties are staying in the market for a very long time. 3 months is what we're looking at here, though. That is to do with the current state of the market. So again, when you see a property staying in the market that has been in the market for over 30 days, do not put a blind eye to it. Still look into it. There could be opportunity there for you as a buyer. As a seller, do not get nervous. It's the kind of market that we're in. You just have to make sure you price your property the right way. This is the time where you have to stage your property, make it very attractive for a buyer to come in and look at it, make it attractive for the appraisers when they're looking at it to say, okay, this is the actual value of the property. So there's a lot of things that you have to do as a seller to make sure your property sells in this current state of the market, as compared to at the top of 2022 or in 2021, where all you had to do is say, this is my house. You can only use. Some agents are taking pictures with your phone and the property is still selling. You didn't have to do much. You didn't have to do much marketing at that time. You didn't have to do a lot of negotiations at that time. But now there's a lot of that has to happen. So you have to be very strategic with this and understand what to do and what not to do. So when we look at Brampton here, the average sale price in Brampton has gone up by 12%, and this is 1.1 million. right? And the number of sales dropped by 45%. Then the number of days, as you can see here, this went up by 44%. And in Brampton, again, the average price for month over month, December of 2021 to December of 2022, it dropped by 19.4%. And this dropped from 1.2 of December of 2021. That's a huge drop. So that's another opportunity that you can look at. The active listing was 677 and the total sales was 268. This is a drop by 57% and the increase of by 538%. You can see the number of active listing in Brampton in December of 2021 was 106. Properties were flying at that time, like really fast. Brampton experienced one of the most aggressive markets that I'm pretty sure that Brampton has ever gone through, because I sold properties before having them in the market. That's how aggressive it was in Brampton. So you just have to, currently, that's not happening. You just have to be very strategic on how that's happening. And you can see the prices drop from 1.2 all the way to 981 as well in Brampton month over month. Coming into December, coming into 2023, this is going to be a similar trend. It's not going to drop all the way down till the 2020 numbers, as you can see here. That's not going to happen. Now it's going to be a slow progression of maybe 1 million, and it's going to stay there for quite a bit and then come back to 1,050,000, and it's just a slow transition, not a drastic transition like what we experienced. Then the average sale for condos was 504,000. This dropped by 13.7, and the number of condo sales was 20, and this dropped by 50%. Brampton is not really known for condos, and that's why you're seeing this kind of numbers. So it's changing very, very slow, because there's some condo projects happening in Brampton as well. So that is something for you to look out for. And Mississauga numbers, similar to the Brampton numbers. So, and Oakville, we have Oakville as well, which is something I really want to pay attention to, which is 9.5% increment of 1.6 million is the average price in Oakville. So Oakville, the reason I say you want to pay attention, because if you're looking for a neighborhood that's really good, great houses, great schools, Oakville is where you really want to be in. And looking at this, and you see the average price for Oakville is 1.6, then you look at the month over month, the average price is down to 1.4 million. And you can see it has dropped by 6.2%, where in 2021 it was 1.5 million. In 2020 it was 1.3 million. In 2019 it was 1,064,000. So you can see in Oakville, this price is probably going to keep going down in Oakville. So if you are in a position in Oakville where you want a really good detached house or a really good semi-detached house, the prices you're going to encounter in Oakville right now, those are numbers you want to jump on right away as a buyer. As a buyer in Oakville, that's the greatest opportunity that if somebody wants to purchase around this price range, Oakville is really a good area, because you're getting a good property, you're getting a good location as well, and you're getting good schools if you have kids, and things like that. And if you are a seller in Oakville, you have to be very patient. Patience is your friend in Oakville, because you can see the months of inventory. It's almost 4 months for your property to sell. So that's the months of inventory. So a lot of properties in Oakville are staying for a lot longer than typical, because you also have to understand that's not an average buyer. That's not an average buyer, because you're looking at the price range of 1.5 and over. So those kind of buyers are very particular as well. And you have to be very meticulous. You have to be very patient. You have to be very strategic as a seller, coming into the market in Oakville as well. So when I go back to the numbers here and we look at the number of sales in Oakville have dropped by 40%. It was 2,560, and the number of days has gone up by 41%. So that just reflects everything I just said there. And month over month, you can look at this and you see it is in 2022, it was 93,000 total sales, which has dropped by 44%. And the active listings in Oakville is 356. That's 350% more. So look at this. In 2021, the active listing was 79. Total sales was 168. So this tells you the trade in properties are trading really fast in 2021. Obviously, we know why, because Oakville is a good area. It's a good location. It's amazing. And that's why you're seeing the active listing was very low, because the trading was happening very fast. Properties are not staying in the market at all. And even given the price at 1.5. And now, given the interest rates have gone up, this price point is the one that's going to be affected the most, because the buyer who was buying this, think about it, the buyer who was buying this at 1.5, and they were buying this at an interest rate of less than 1%. And now the interest rates have gone up to close to 4 or 5%. If they never locked in as a fixed interest rate and they got a variable interest rate, that's what this happens. You get to have a lot of active listings. They can't maintain the monthly payment, because now your monthly payments have gone up by $2,000. That's the monthly expense for a household. And you have other things. You have gas, you have food. If you have family, you have to take care of your kids, you have school. There's all these other expenses that come in. So what happens is those sellers that bought around this time, they put the property up in the market. And now the property is staying up in the market for a very long time. And this is why I'm saying to you, as a buyer in this market, if you're a strong buyer and you can afford this price range, Oakville is a really good spot. There's a lot of opportunities there if that is something you want. Oakville, if you're asking me personally, opportunity, Oakville. So if you look at the condo area, the average sale of condos in Oakville is 922,000. This went up by 23%. Wow. And the condo sales was 14 of them in Oakville. Really good condos in Oakville. A lot of space compared to what you'll find in Toronto. So I could see that happening as well. And the average price month over month in Oakville for condos was 748. And compared to 2020, which was 775. So it's not that drastic. So 748 all the way to 922,000. So that is on to go into the TREB market watch. So some of the numbers in average in the Greater Toronto area. You can see here in 2022, the number of sales was 3,117. The active listing was 8,692 compared to 2021, which the average active listing was 3,232. This is obviously, as I said, the shift in the market, the shift of interest rates. The average price has dropped from 1.15 to $1,051,051. As you can see here, the months of inventory in 2021 was less than a month. In 2022, we were close to 3 months. That is very, very typical. So this is a good one to give you a good understanding of the numbers in the whole of the Toronto market and the GTA. So that is what I have here for you. If you have any questions and you want to get into a specific area, complete micro market, what I would always say, whether you're a seller, a buyer, or you are an investor in this market, Yes, what I've showed you is very generous and it's good to understand the numbers in a general sense. But if you are looking for a specific area, specific location, you want to understand the micro market in that area, because the numbers definitely get affected by that, and also do a comparable market analysis for that small area to have a good understanding on whether it's a good time for you to sell, whether it's a good time for you to buy there, whether it's a good time for you to invest in those areas. And if you are investing, you also want to look at the demographic. You want to look at the rates for the rental. What are the rules for the rentals in those specific areas? So it's good information for you to understand for 2022 coming into 2023. I'm going to be giving you guys this information as much as possible. Obviously, it's going to be a lot shorter than this. It's going to be around 8 5-minute videos I'll be sending out for just to give you information on the market. But for this one, I really wanted to dive deeper into it. I hope you found this helpful. That way, you have a good understanding of what happened in 2022, and coming in 2023, you'll know how to move forward. But until next time, have a good one. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to get the notifications from me once I have something new posted out for you to look into. But until next time, my name is Clement, and thank you, and have a good one, guys.